So, hi everyone. Today we'll be trying out another fighting fantasy classic. Last time we were playing Bloodbones and the Citadel of Chaos. That ended quite badly. So today we can try, well, some other ones. So we have available Trial of Champions, Warlock of the Firetop Mountain, City of Thieves. Let's try the Trial of Champions. That looks quite cool. So of course we have to update it because why wouldn't we have? This is ridiculous, but what can we do? So let's go, let's try, let's read/play. And of course we have this intro that we saw many times now about the mechanics of the game. Trial of Champions is a fighting fantasy game book, an interactive adventure in which you are the hero. We are the hero. You, me, my dog, say hi. We are heroes. So we're gonna skip this part because, well, we saw this a few times already. So let's just go and make our difficulty Adventure, Hardcore, Hero, or Free Read. These are the difficulty settings that are available. So let's go with Adventure because this is how Ian Livingstone, the designer, has designed it. So you have chosen the Adventure difficulty mode. Before continuing, you must calculate your initial stamina. Your stamina score reflects your general constitution, your will to survive, your determination, and overall fitness. The higher your stamina score, the longer you will be able to survive. You must roll 2 dice and add 12 to the number rolled. This is then entered in the stamina box on your adventure sheet. Stamina will go up and down during your journey, but if your stamina falls to 0, you die and your adventure is over. So stamina is obviously a very important stat, and our last game, well, we rolled badly on pretty much everything. So let's see if we are more fortunate with our stamina rolls today. And we are. This is really good. 11 plus base of 12, 23. Really good. Okay, let's go for skill. Your skill reflects your swordsmanship and general fighting expertise. The higher, the better, obviously. Your starting skill is determined by rolling 1 die and adding 6 to the number. This is then entered in the skill box on your adventure sheet. Your adventure sheet can be accessed at any time using the menu at the bottom of the screen. Roll your starting skill. Let's roll our skill, shall we? 5. Well, 5 plus 6 base, 11. Again. Now we're going to have a terrible luck, which I'd honestly prefer better luck than skill, but let's see. Your luck score indicates how naturally lucky a person you are. Luck and magic are facts of life in the fantasy kingdom you're about to explore. Your starting luck is determined by rolling 1 die and adding 6 to the number. This is then entered in the luck box on your adventure sheet. Roll your starting luck. Okay, let's try. And not great, not terrible. 9. 3 plus 6. Okay, so one more thing before your journey begins, which is, well, inventory provisions. Usually when embarking upon a fighting fantasy adventure, you begin with various equipment. As you begin as a slave of Lord Karnas, wait, we're a slave, in Trial of Champions, you have no provisions, potions, weapons, or equipment in your possession. This is different from the previous books we read and played. If you encounter provisions during your adventure, rationing them is key to survival. Provisions may be consumed at any time, excluding combat, by accessing the adventure sheet. Each meal restores 4 stamina. Be sure to pay close attention to your stamina and restore it regularly. During your quest, you may encounter characters and items that alter your 3 scores: stamina, skill, and luck. Usually, these scores may only ever be restored to their initial amount. On very rare occasions, a particular page may grant an effect that defies this rule. Aside from these occasions, some magic items may also allow you to exceed your initial scores. I see. So there is no top value that we can achieve if we can increase it. There is no limit in theory, I suppose. Let's go. Once you turn this page, your adventure will begin. May the luck of the gods go on with you on the voyage ahead. May the luck guide us indeed. So, opening chapter. It is another fiercely hot day, and the temperature in the sticky gloom below decks is unbearable. The air is thick with acrid smell of sweating bodies. Nobody is allowed to speak, and the only noise to be heard above monotonous creaking of the ship is the regular sharp crack of a whip and the agonized cry which follows it. "Row harder, you dogs!" shouts the one-eyed overseer as he cracks the whip once again. Enjoy this pleasant journey while you can, because you'll wish you were back on board after a day or two where you're going. Chained to a bench and straining hard at the long oar which you pull with 2 other galley slaves, your mind drifts back to that unfortunate day 1 week ago when you were captured. So, we were not always a slave, it seems. Okay, so, can we change our fortune? Let's see. You had left Port Blacksand in a small boat to sail south down the coast to Oyster Bay. As ill luck would have it, a galley appeared on the horizon heading in your direction. It drew steadily closer, and it was not long before your boat was crushed under its bow and you were forced to dive into the sea. There was nothing you could do except climb up a rope that was thrown down to you, as your boat had become no more than a few pieces of broken wood floating aimlessly on the sea. It was useless to struggle, as a crew of 20 hardened cutthroats surrounded you. A gruff voice behind them ordered the crew to part, and an ugly, scarred man appeared, grinning and spitting juice from chewing tobacco onto the deck. His teeth were chipped and blackened, and a foul stench wafted in the breeze from his unwashed clothes. "Captain Bartella always delivers the goods. You'll make up for the one who died from flogging yesterday. Saves me having to kidnap a landlubber. Must be my lucky day. But I wouldn't say it's yours." The captain let out a laugh like a long, wheezing exhalation, then barked out an order to his mate. "Take the rat below to meet the rest of the vermin." Since that cursed day, you have been chained to your oar, rowing to the point of collapse towards an unknown destination. Suddenly, you hear a shout of, "Land ahoy!" and begin to wonder what evil awaits you. I mean, surely, in this situation, we are chained to an oar. Any kind of change, save for, I don't know, drowning, is a change for the better. Let's see. Let's see. An hour later, you feel the ship bump against a jetty. What's a jetty? Is it like a naval term? Did I mention that I really love naval terminology, even though there's quite a few terms that I don't understand? I just like to look it up. And there is much shouting until the ship is finally moored. You are dragged from the ship with the other slaves, and see in the glaring sunlight that you are on a small island. A somber-looking castle sits on the top of the island, and next to it is a semi-ruined amphitheater. So this is how we know that we are in a fantasy world, because a small island that has a castle on it, and that just seems like a logistical nightmare. Having a small island, any kind of small structure that's used year long, that just seems like a disaster to me. But we're not for realism here, right? A man wearing black chainmail armor hands Captain Bartella a bag of coins. Satisfied with his payment, the wheezing captain orders his men back to the ship, and you watch them set sail. The man in black armor steps forward, saying, "You are now the property of Lord Carnus. It is your honor to die for his pleasure in the arena of death, here on Blood Island. Only one of you will survive, and he or she will represent Lord Carnus in Fang for the next trial of champions." So this is an island that's like a pit stop, an entertainment hub for pirates, I guess, in these waters. You know, they don't have theaters or I don't know, arcades. They just have a fight to the death arena in the middle of the ocean. And we are a unwilling participant, it seems. Woe is us. So, Baron Sukhumvit, what a terrible name, has modified his deadly labyrinth and is now offering 20,000 gold pieces to anybody who gets through it. Of course, Lord Carnus will keep the prize if you get through, but you will be spared your life. Baron Sukhumvit's reputation suffered greatly last year when somebody succeeded in getting through the labyrinth, but now he boasts that nobody can survive his new dungeon. Lord Carnus would like one of you to make Sukhumvit eat his words. You must understand that he hates his brother's fame. Now follow me. You are led up the hill to the castle, where you are locked in a cell in the depths of the lower chambers. Sharing the dark cell with you are 4 others. A stout dwarf, a man-orc. What's a man-orc? Is it like a half-orc in D&D? A sinewy warrior, and a bold, muscle-bound man. The mood is grim, and few words are spoken as each of you ponders the impending combat. 42 slaves arrive by the ship, and only one will survive. The dubious reward is entry to a deadly dungeon. Now turn over. So, let's turn over. We now have 4 roommates with us, apparently. At dawn the following day, you are awoken by the sound of heavy footsteps approaching down the corridor. A key turns in the lock of this cell door, and 2 guards wearing black chainmail enter, carrying trays of food. "Eat well," says one of them, "as you will need all your strength to survive the day. By the end of it, you may all be dead." "Oh, thank you for your kind words of encouragement, man who provided me with food." Jeez. What else? The guard then turns to you and offers you some bread and a bowl of soup. If you wish to take the food, turn to 49. If you would rather try to overcome the guard and make an escape, turn to 292. If I realized something playing Fighting Fantasy is that it kind of likes to throw a curveball at you, and trying to make an escape sounds like a curveball, a really bad one. So let's try and go with the flow. I hope the food is not poisonous, so let's take the food. The soup is thick with chicken and vegetables and tastes delicious. Great. You devour it greedily and mop up the last drops with the bread. You have not eaten well for a fortnight, and now feel fit and ready for the coming ordeal. When you have finished eating, you are led away to begin your first day in the arena of death. This is a nice drawing of a rat and a human skull, isn't it? Turn to page 22. Let's turn. You are in the middle of the procession of 42 slaves, which wends its way along various corridors until you reach the amphitheater. The sun is already beating down, making the sand in the arena uncomfortably hot to your bare feet. Seated high in the stands is a dark, hooded figure surrounded by guards. You watch him rise to his feet and lift his arms into the air, commanding silence. "You know why you're here?" Lord Carnus begins. "It is my wish to be represented in the trial of champions. Some of you will die today, some tomorrow, and more the following day, until only one of you is left. Those about to die, I salute you." Lord Carnus sits down and nods his head to signal the start of the proceedings. The slaves are split into 7 groups of 6, and you find yourself in a group accompanied by an elf, 2 Northmen, a dwarf, and an ogre. Your group is chosen first, and you are told that the first event is a race to test strength and stamina. A crude sack containing several heavy rocks is strapped to your back. You watch as burning coals are brought into the arena and poured over a section of makeshift racetrack. Interesting image. The 6 of you are then lined up at the start, each carrying your burden, and are told to race from the track until one of you is lapped or collapses. Then you're off, and you all jostle for position on the way to jumping the first pile of burning coals. If you wish to set the pace, turn to 310. If you would rather stay at the back, turn to 107. Let's stay at the back. This is an endurance race. This is not a sprint. One of the Northmen takes the lead, setting a fast pace. Round and round the arena you run, gritting your teeth harder each time you jump over the burning coals. After 20 minutes, nobody has left behind, and the Northman increases his stride. So this is probably a failed choice of the escape here. Since we did not try to escape, we have avoided punishment while in our cell. You must test your skill to determine how you fare in the race. So let's roll 2 dice. So the Northman is in the lead. I don't have a frame of reference to races in this world. I don't know, are the Northmen known for their endurance? Are they like elves in other fantasy settings where they can't just run and run and run? No idea. So let's set our skill roll. So we have to roll above our skill or below. Well, if you want to pass, we need to roll above. So let's roll. And we deftly passed the skill check. Excellent, excellent. So we have rolled well. Let's go. The Northman increases his lead over the rest of you, but you feel you still have a lot in reserve should he come close to lapping the pack. When he gets within 10 meters of catching up, everybody decides to sprint. There are only 2 runners ahead of you, but you not look back. Now, here I have a question, and this is not exactly worded concisely, but there are no laps, right? It doesn't matter on which lap you are, technically. Or am I misunderstanding something? Because if it's an endurance race and the last one, but then again, probably not. Because otherwise you could just stand, right, and get flogged. Suddenly there is an agonized cry followed by a shout which calls an end to the race. The dwarf lies prostrate in the sand, having collapsed just as the Northman caught up with him. While you are led back to yourselves, the dwarf is quickly put to death before the start of the next race. So we did not win, but we did not die, which is a win in my book, and in this one. So, when all the races are finished and the survivors are back in their cells, you discover that the bald man does not return. Now there are only 3 others left in your cell. Although exhausted, you find it difficult to fall asleep. Your mind is occupied with what challenge the next day will bring. In the morning you are fed, and then one of the slaves are led away to the arena. Eventually your turn comes, and when you reach the door to the arena, you are told to choose your weapons. So let's choose wisely. Broadsword and shield, trident, hand net. So our skill is not the greatest, but let's try and be reasonable. I was a sailor. We were a sailor before we were captured. So it stands to reason that we are more experienced with a trident and a net than with a broadsword and a shield. As far as I know, I'm not a soldier. So let's try this. You have chosen the trident and net. Turn to 275. Let's turn. Whoa, that's a chunky lizard boy. And it's a derpy looking gladiator. A guard opens the door to the arena and you step out on the hot sand, which is now stained red with the blood of fallen combatants. Suddenly another door in the arena wall opens and out steps the dreaded bone crusher beast. Its tough, leathery skin glistening in the sun. Its ugly head is small and houses two narrow, near-blind eyes. A flat nose and tendrils hanging over its taut mouth. Its torso, however, is massive, and its long arms are dauntingly powerful. He is very broad, a very broad lizard. Even his tail is chunky. If you're to fight it with a broadsword and shield, turn to 56. If you are to fight it with trident and net, turn to 175. Wow, that's I don't know if you made the right choice, because the net, since he's so tall and wide and big, maybe the net is not the best solution. And he's blind, so well, let's see. Excuse me. You allow yourself a faint smile, as you have chosen a good weapon with which to fight your adversary. Edged weapons cause little damage to the iron-like hide of Bone Crusher. There is only one way to slay Bone Crusher, and that is to make it fall to the ground, whereupon its delicate balance will be totally destroyed, and it will be impossible for the Bone Crusher to get to its feet again. You move forward cautiously to snare it with your weight net. Roll one die. Good. You rolled 5. If the number rolled is between 4 and 6, turn to 189. Indeed it was. Your throw is on target and lands on top of the near-sided Bone Crusher. As it thrashes around, it becomes more and more entangled and lets out an enraged howl. Before it can break free, you tug hard and pull the beast to the ground. The Bone Crusher lies helpless and defeated. Panting with relief, you are taken back to your cell. So there is no additional throw to finish it off. Okay, I guess this was it. Let's turn to the next page. And who is this gentleman here? By the end of the day, only one other person returns to your cell. It's the mean-looking Julian Warrior, a man who looks as though he would murder you for 2 copper pieces. As the light quickly fades, a guard shouts out an expected command. There are now 2 of you left in each cell. I only want one to come out in the morning for tomorrow's combat. Sleep well. Yeah, sure. The guard bursts out laughing at his joke, and even before he has finished, the warrior dives at you, brandishing a long sharp pin which was concealed in his headband. That sneaky rascal. Okay. Unarmed, you must fight to the death. If you win, turn here. If you are defeated, well, let's fight. Let's fight. We're Jim Simmons from the band Kus. Let's fight. Okay, not great. He hit us. Let's try with... Well, our luck isn't great, so let's try with fighting again. Not great again. Let's try with luck. Yes. No. He's kind of kicking our ass right now. 17, 16. Finally, first hit. Let's try luck again. Draw. Good. Okay, let's try again. Good. If we can land another solid hit, we're We're okay. We're okay. We are triumphant. Excellent. Let's go. You slam back against the cell wall after the fierce fight with the Julian Warrior. So, what do we have? And fall asleep from exhaustion. When all the survivors are assembled in the arena in the morning, there are only 12 of you left. The first test of the day involves a deadly machine. You will need lightning reactions and steel nerves to survive it. It is made of a pole fixed to a heavy base. The two sharp blades stick out from either side of the pole, one at the head height and one at the ankle height. One of the slaves is made to stand by the pole, which is promptly spun around by one of the guards. The slave alternately has to duck under one blade and jump over the other to avoid being badly cut. Your turn comes last, and there are 9 survivors so far. The 2 others having had their throats cut. Ugh, nasty. You stand by the pole, adrenaline pumping through your veins. The guard spins the pole, and you start to jump and duck. Sure. What's next? Let me roll the dice. Let's roll the dice. We passed the skill check. Excellent. Let's go next. You get into the steady rhythm of ducking and jumping, and slowly the pole spins to a halt. You have survived another ordeal. The next test begins immediately. You and the rest are split into 2 groups of 5. You watch the first group of a dwarf, a man-orc, a warrior, a barbarian, and a southerner stand silently as a spiked ball and chain is lashed to each of their sword arms, and a small shield is lashed to their other hand. They are then blindfolded in order to commence battle against one another until there is only one left standing. It is a sickening spectacle to watch, as the fighters tread warily around the arena, swinging their balls and chains. Haha, they're swinging their balls. The dwarf falls first, quickly followed by the warrior. In the end, the southerner stands triumphant and his blindfold is removed. He is led away, and then each member of your group is armed in the same way. You can feel your heart pounding in your chest as the order is given to commence combat. Let the combat commence! Against the 4 unseen adversaries. Barefoot in the sand, nobody makes a sound. If you wish to step to your left, turn to 297. If you wish to step to your right, turn to 9. Is there any difference? Really, let's step to right. You step slowly to your right, and almost immediately hear an agonized cry, followed by the dull thud of a body falling to the ground to your left. You walk on without making a sound. A chill runs down your spine when your outstretched shield arm comes into contact with something. But it's only the arena wall. Sigh. You turn around and walk towards the center of the arena. So we must test our luck. And our luck isn't the greatest, but our throw was bad. Sadly, your luck has run out. You need a luck score of 7 or below and roll a luck score of 11. We are unlucky. Unknown to you, there is a body lying in the sand directly in your path. You trip over it and fall to the ground. Suddenly you hear the whooshing sound of a ball and chain being swung by. The wielder of the ball and chain has heard your fall and is moving in for the kill, but he too falls over the body and lands on top of you. He is heavy and drenched with sweat. You start to grapple with him in the sand, punching with your shield arm while trying to free your other arm to swing the ball and chain. You must fight. So hopefully our skill will serve us well here, because our luck is kind of running out. And okay, we hit the slave. We are hit by the slave. Not great. We both miss. And we land a solid hit. Okay, let's see next. That was a lot of rolls. We land another hit, and let's finish him off. But alas, come on, come on, come on. Yes, we are triumphant. We have defeated the slaves, so You jump to your feet and listen intently for other opponents. Hearing nothing, you step warily to the left. You walk slowly, as you know there are bodies lying in the sand. You stop to listen, but hear nothing. You decide to turn around and walk in the opposite direction. Suddenly you hear a gruff voice cry out, "If there is anybody else, I'm over here." Can I just say, what a big fellas energy this is. This guy, he knows that there's probably only one opponent, and instead of just waiting when one of you stumbles into another, he just goes, "Get over here." You decide to accept the bold challenge and walk in the direction of the voice, swinging your ball and chain. You clash head-on with your unseen opponent in a blind fight to the death. You must fight, so let us fight. Let's fight indeed with our skill versus his skill, which is much lower than ours, this pro. Let's try to test our luck. And our luck is really bad, but it landed a hit. And he's toast. You're triumphant. If you overcome this brave challenger, turn to 61. A cheer goes up as your opponent drops to the ground. You hear guards enter the arena, and soon your blindfold is removed, and your weapons are untied from your wrists. You are led away to your cell, realizing that only the Southerner stands between you and victory. That night you are well fed and your wounds are bandaged. You regain 4 stamina points. We should check if that is that the full stamina. In the morning, the familiar ritual of being led into the arena is repeated, but this time you are made to stand face to face with the Southerner. You are each handed a dagger and a studded glove. At the command of Lord Karnas, is this the Lord Karnas? The final arena battle commences. So we must fight. So I presume after this guy we have to fight not fight. We have to navigate the labyrinth, I assume. So let us fight. Let us fight indeed. He has 10 skill and 10 stamina. We have not been fully healed. We have 18 out of 23. Sure, let's try our luck. And we both miss, unfortunately. Let's try again. And what's with the jumping here? I don't get it. 19 to 17. We land a hit. Okay, let's try again. How exciting. Another hit. Wow, this is going quite well. Said by me, famous last words. Oh, another hit. Excellent. Another hit. Whoa. Okay. What's with the jumping? And he lands a hit on us. And we land the final blow to our opponent. We are triumphant. If you overcame your final opponent in the arena of death, turn to 261. We did overcome. As the Southerner drops to his knees, clutching his stomach, he manages to utter a few words with his dying breath. Good luck in the dungeon, stranger. But if you get a chance to be alone with Karnas, remember those of us who died in his arena. What a honorable opponent, right? The Southerner grimaces with pain and falls silent. You vow to yourself that you will avenge your fellow slave's death and kill Lord Karnas if you survive the deadly labyrinth of Fang. That night you are honored guest of Lord Karnas and indulge yourself in your every whim. You gorge yourself on delicious food and enjoy yourself long into the night. After a week of luxurious living, you are returned to full fitness. Your stamina is restored to initial level. That's good. Then, locked in chains, you set sail with Lord Karnas and 30 of his guards, and 10 days later arrive in Fang, the venue for the annual Trial of Champions. The town is swarming with people intrigued by the trial and eager to celebrate. However, there is no time for you to enjoy the hospitality of Baron Succumbit, which is a terrible, terrible name. It really is a terrible name. What can I say? And as it is late in the evening and the trial begins at dawn the next day, you spend the night in a tavern under watchful eyes of the guards, and at dawn are led to the entrance of the deadly labyrinth. It is supported by ornately carved stone pillars depicting demons, deities, and writhing serpents. You see Baron Succumbit shaking the hands of other contestants. A chaos champion wearing dark spiked armor, so an edgelord, a warlord in full battle costume, an elven prince, and a dwarf noble. This year the prize has attracted illustrious contenders. You take your place alongside them and are then asked to draw a bamboo stick from the hand of the Baron. The number 2 is etched on the stick. You are to enter the dungeon second, after the dwarf. To the cheers of the exultant onlookers, you pass between the pillars, armed only with the magnificent sword given to you by Lord Carnus. Without backpack, food, or armor, you feel ill-prepared for the coming ordeal, but at least you have this fine sword and a leather pouch at your belt. The sound of the crowd quickly dies away as you walk on down the dimly lit tunnel. What horrors lie before you, it is impossible to imagine, but you know that Baron Succumbit has spent the last year modifying his death trap dungeon so that it is now reputedly lethal beyond comprehension. But your desire to avenge the deaths of your fellow slaves make you determined to succeed. The tunnel leads straight ahead for 50 meters, and then you come to a doorway in the left-hand wall with "Keep Out" sign written on in dried blood. You hear scratching and sniffing sounds coming from the other side of the door. So we have a doggy on the other side, what it seems like. A doggy. So I don't want to hurt a doggy. I'm a dog person, as it is evident from Tara here. Tara, say hi. Okay, back to your nap. If you wish to draw your sword and open the door, turn to 374. If you would rather keep walking down the tunnel, maybe we can befriend the dog. I feel that this is going to be a terrible idea, but let's try to... Oh, that's... Whoa, yeah, that's... Why did I do this? The door opens easily and you step in a small room. Before you have time to look around, a huge black hellhound leaps at you with flames shouting out from its cavernous mouth. This will be a fight to the death. After each attack round, an additional die will roll. On 1 or 2, you will lose an additional 1 stamina as a result of being burned by the hellhound flames. You must fight. I just wanted a doggy. Okay, he's hurt. We managed to evade, so a 6 is evade. Interesting. So we must finish it as soon as we can. So another... We evaded. And let's finish him quickly. Excellent! We were not burned. Yes, we were, but only once. Okay. Not great, not terrible. If you manage to overcome the Hellhound's flaming attacks, turn to 52. We did! We managed to evade it. The room is empty apart from a pile of straw and old bones in the far corner. If you wish to rummage through the straw, turn to 336. Yeah, let's see if there's anything useful, because we have no provisions of any kind. So, you find a gold ring lying on the stone floor under the straw. You place it in the leather pouch on your belt and then leave the room to continue along the tunnel. Okay, let's see. The tunnel soon comes to an end at a T-junction. If you wish to head left, turn to 229. If you wish to head right, turn to 304. Let's turn left. After 30 meters, you notice that the ceiling has about 20 spears pointing down from holes in the rock. You look on the ground for a tripwire, which may trigger them, but do not see one. If you wish to walk on, turn to 391. If you would rather retrace your steps back past the T-junction, turn to 304. In the distance you hear a sound of running water, and soon the tunnel ends at the edge of a pit. A rope bridge straddles the pit, and beyond in the tunnel continues straight on. There is a wooden box tied to the bridge and a sign above which reads, "Pay gold to cross." A rope hangs down from the bridge. Peering down into the gloom of the pit, you can just make out a fast-flowing river far below. Nasty. Drop a gold object into the box and walk across the bridge, or walk across the bridge without paying. Let's pay the toll. You drop the gold ring into the box and step warily into the rope bridge. It appears to be strong enough to bear your weight, and you hurry across it unchallenged. See? The tunnel eventually comes to a dead end. There is a stone tablet set in the end wall with a small circular hole in its center. Around the hole are etched the words, "1 is on and 2 is gone." If you wish to reach the circular hole, turn to 179. If you would rather retrace your steps back over the bridge and walk beyond the T-junction, turn to 229. What do we do? What do we do? I have no idea. I have no idea. What do we do? Let's see. Yeah, I don't think there's coming back from this. Slowly you reach further into the hole until your fingers touch two buttons, one with the number 1 stamped into it and the other bearing the number 2. If you wish to press number 1, turn to 12. If you wish to press number 2, turn to 214. Let's press number 2. Your mind goes blank immediately, and when you regain your senses, you find yourself at the entrance to the dungeon. The crowd sees you and starts to jeer and hiss. They rush forward, hurling stones. You must roll 1 die and deduct the result from your stamina score. What? Let's roll 1 die. Okay, you rolled 6 and rolled 6 stamina from... What? Realizing what is happening, you turn and run back into the dungeon past the door on your left to the T-junction. Let's go right. This is ridiculous. Now we don't have anything to pay. Let's climb the rope. Your feet find a ledge protruding out over the river. You release the rope, walk along the ledge, and find that it leads to a completely black cave mouth. Suddenly, 2 bony arms shoot out of the darkness and try to push off the ledge into the river. Roll 2 dice. Okay, we passed the skill check. You rolled below your skill score, turn to 100. Okay. Oh, that's nasty. Only your lightning quick reflexes save you from being knocked into the river. You teeter on the ledge but regain your balance. You draw your sword to attack your enemy. From out of the dark cave steps a creature which has the appearance of a stooped, starving man with long arms touching the ground and a gaunt brown leathery skin. You recognize it as a strider, a cunning hired killer. The strider is armed with an iron pole which has blades at either end. It is a fearsome weapon in the hands of the dexterous strider. Okay, now we must fight to the death. Let's fight. It has 9 stamina and 9 skill, and we have managed to land a hit, but it still has a lot of stamina left. Yeah, good. Good. So I think I figured out the rolling. When I click the mouse before the die are completely stop rolling, I can re-roll it quickly, which is interesting. And we get slashed. Not great. Pretty good. Now we only need 1 hit. And there it is. Excellent! Let's go forth! The strider has no possessions apart from a bow medallion hanging around its neck. Yes, he has possessions. He has this fierce weapon. To be fair, the text did say that only he can wield it, but surely it can be useful for something, like open a door, break into something, anything, cut something. We don't have to fight with it, but okay. If you wish to put the medallion around your own neck, turn to 70. Yeah, let's take the medallion. Nothing strange or untoward happens to you as a result of putting on the medallion. You look around and decide the best plan is to climb back up the rope. Okay, what now? What now? What now? Nothing. Nothing, it seems. Let's see. You climb back out to the edge of the pit and decide what to do next. Drop a gold object into the wooden box or walk across the bridge. Can we? Oh yeah, we can drop the gold ring again. But we already dropped the gold ring. But I don't... Okay, fine, whatever. It's the mechanics. The tunnel eventually comes to a dead end. There is a stone tablet set in the end wall with a small circular hole in its center. Around the hole are etched words. 1 is on and 2 is gone. If you wish to reach the circular hole, turn to 171. If you would rather retrace your step, okay, we cannot retrace because the crowd will stone us to death. So let's press number 1 this time. As soon as you press the button, a large stone slab in the left-hand wall of the tunnel pivots open. You step through the gap and find yourself in another tunnel. You soon come to a door in the right-hand wall, which has an old broom nailed to it. Interesting. If you wish to open the door, turn to 246. If you would rather carry on, I mean, no point in carrying on. Let's try the door. Wow, that's quite the image. What are those? Rats, snails, more snails, worms, an interesting looking cauldron. As soon as you open the door, you are met by a blast of warm air. For a second, you think it is a trap until you see a huge fire burning under a simmering cauldron in the center of the small room. An old woman is dropping rats, slugs, maggots, and centipedes into the cauldron and appears to be enjoying herself. If you wish to enter the room, turn to 186 if you would rather close the door. I had a feeling that if you try to close the door, it would just... something funky will happen. So let's introduce ourselves. The old crone looks up, cackles an evil laugh, and then throws some dust on the floor. A cloud of smoke rises up, and the old witch vanishes. Suddenly, there is a movement above you, and you have just enough time to draw your sword as 2 vampire bats swoop down to attack. Okay, that's rude. I didn't even... Well, where's the hospitality? I was hoping that I would get some of that delicious maggot soup. Ugh. You must fight. Let's fight. They have 5 stamina, 5 skill, but there's 2 of them. So... okay. Yes. Better. Ah. There you go. You have defeated the first vampire bat. Now you must face the second vampire bat. Okay, let us face the second vampire bat. There. That's a terrible roll. Let's try to re-roll this. Yeah. You are triumphant. If you defeat both the vampire bats, turn to 142, which we do. You decide to add your own ingredients to the witch's brew by dropping the vampire bats into the cauldron in the hope of poisoning her. What? I would like to have a freedom of choice there, but sure, whatever. You search the room and find a polished wooden box with a face carved into it. A face which you recognize. It is that of a dwarf who entered the dungeon before you. You also find a small file of red dust hidden inside an old book. Will you open the wooden box, throw some dust, put the file in your belt pouch? Yeah, let's take a file, because dust will just summon something, and yeah, let's not. There's nothing else of interest in the room, and despite your hunger, you refrain from helping yourself to a bowl of the bubbling brew. If you wish to open the wooden box, turn to 124. The game really wants me to open that wooden box, so okay, whatever, let's do it. As soon as you open the box, your whole body seems to stretch as though you are being sucked through a keyhole. You are consumed by terror when you realize you're in a black void. Excellent, great, marvelous. Why did I do this? You can feel nothing around you, walls, ceiling, or floor. You're a prisoner in the trapping box, and the dwarf who had opened the box earlier is now free. Your face is now shown carved on the lid of the box, and you cannot escape unless some other foolish person opens the box. Let's... Oh, folks, this might be the end. Let's try our luck. Your luck has run out. Okay. What next? What next? Our adventure is over. You are dead, your quest to win the Trial of Champions and your revenge against Lord Karnas has come to an untimely end. The labyrinthine dungeon beneath Fang has claimed another challenger. The end. Yeah, that was less than excellent, folks. Thank you for watching. I think I'll try my luck again. So, yeah, let's try again, shall we? Let's try again. Let's just breeze through it.